today. I cannot travel 50 kilometers outside the Abuja city limits without armed escort. And where is this nation's capital? Kaduna, which is more or less the capital for the military infrastructure. You can't travel there by road. You can't travel there by air. You can't travel there by rail. And in this country today, you would think that the only problem Nigeria has, Yele Sowore, Nnamdi Kanu, Igboho, these are the problems of Nigeria. Vast part of Nigeria have become ungovernable for the Nigerian state. People are paying taxes to bandits who are actually terrorists. But they are still talking as though but Bishop Kuka was fishing facts out of fiction. Reality is that each and every Nigerian, particularly those domiciled in the northern part of Nigeria, live with the reality of insecurity on a daily basis. It's their living reality. So when the government spokesperson comes out and attacks someone like Kuka, and I must say that someone like Reverend Azan Kuka, I've never met him before. But he's one of those people, you might disagree with him, and I do have a lot of disagreements with his position sometimes, especially in his belief that you can somehow reform this place without doing a root and branch thing with it. But at the end of the day, you cannot quarrel with the sincerity of his criticisms and his position. And to then have men who are denying what is before all of us that we can all see and say that, so what if they brought 100 Super Tucanos? How does it change the fact that Commodore Olawumi was on here? He said they have given names of Boko Haram sponsors to this government since 2018 or thereabout. Up till today, not a single one of those persons have been named in public or have been prosecuted. Up till today. The UAE handed the list of Boko Haram sponsors to our Attorney General. What has he done with it? But he was very quick to start talking about the sponsors of Sunday Igboho. They were quick to begin to slam terrorism charges on Yele Sowore. Look, the reality is that this government is not interested in fighting banditry because it is complicit in the mess. It pains me that I'm being forced to quote a person like General Abacha. But I do recall him saying something to the effect that if insurgency goes beyond the 24-hour band, the government is involved. I don't think it is beyond the pale to ask this government to simply tell us what it is that it knows that is already in the rumor mills that the rest of Nigerians have not been clued up to. At least the terrorists were unambiguous in saying that the president knows their demands. It is only right that those of us who are paying the price in blood and tears on a daily basis should also be allowed to know what it is, what debt has been owed that is unpaid. The Yorubas have a proverb, and I think I'll close this part of the question with that. They say that "Eni to sun la nji, eni kan o ki nji apiroro." You do not wake the person who is pretending to be asleep. The only thing this government has done successfully for 7 years is to pretend to be securing the lives and properties of Nigeria. If you are talking about Americans refusing to hand you Super Tucanos, have you considered the fact that as of 2017, the Air Force went and bombed the refugee camp? These are all the kind of atrocities that the Americans look at beyond their own narrow, selfish interests to justify withholding security systems from us, because we have an appalling human rights record, especially our armed forces. I can speak to that because of Lekki. I can. The Lekki toll gate is sufficient for me to speak to that. There is a panel of inquiry that has said that our armed forces killed innocent civilians with protesters holding flags. So do the Americans require more excuses to meet their own strategic goal? I can't blame the Americans. We are the ones who need to decide what it is that is in our own strategic, selfish interest. Ukraine, tiny Ukraine, is showing the world that you sometimes presume too much when you think you know it all and you have all the indices in your hand. The way we are, the president and the entire security forces, and I cannot blame the security forces because they take their cue from the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief is complicit in this mess.
But